Lesson 117, the dative case. In the last lesson, we studied indirect objects. We learned that the indirect object in a sentence is the party in the sentence that is benefiting or receiving. And so the way we express that in Russian is by using one of the noun cases. This particular case is called the dative case. We also have the same case in other languages like German, Ancient Greek, Latin, and then here in Russian. So this is one of those same cases that you see in lots of languages. And so if you have a Russian sentence and that sentence contains an indirect object, you can put that indirect object in the dative case. And by putting it in the dative case, that shows that that is the party in the sentence that is benefiting or receiving. The dative case does not need help from any other word. It does not need a preposition. It doesn't need help from other helper words. All by itself, the dative case can express and indicate that a particular noun is the indirect object in a sentence. It's not like English, where we need the word to or the word for. The idea of being an indirect object is just built in to the dative case. It just inherently means that. So in our example sentences here, we have our first example. I am giving the book, or I am giving a book. That particular sentence does not contain an indirect object. That's just a practice sentence. It's got a subject, it's got a verb, it's got a direct object. But then if you add a word that is the indirect object, for example, if the sentence says, I am giving the book to the woman, or I am giving a book to a woman, now you have an indirect object. And so since the word for woman here is the indirect object, that word, that noun, needs to be put into the dative case. And so the dative case here expresses or indicates that that particular noun is the indirect object.